Well, this is really strange. It's letting me do everything, but you know where you hit more to go into, for whatever reason, it's not letting me do it. Okay, well, that's new. So let's just do our interview and then
we'll pretend.
We'll do the other stuff. We'll pretend we're live. And to be honest, I always like, once we've edited it anyway, they always look better to me. So let's just do that.
Great.
Okay. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you looked at it from another perspective? What could you learn by opening up your mind to other ideas and other concepts? Who would you become if you welcomed the possibilities and embraced the opportunities? Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm Denise Stiegel. I am your host here of the Wonder Series, where we offer you the opportunity to think outside the box and wonder how you could create the life you've always desired. A life on purpose, by design, rather than by default and circumstances. The Wonder Series is sponsored by Living Healthy List. And our weekly interviews here on the Wonder Series feature world-class experts in various areas of health, wellness, personal development, bringing a little bit more fun into life, all whom inspire you with their insight and their wisdom. You can receive tips and proven strategies right here that you can use right away. Truly, our goal here is to excite, engage, educate, and empower you to become the person you've always intended and to create the healthy, happy, purpose-filled life that keeps you moving forward. A new episode of the Wonder Series is released every Wednesday. You can find us at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, all of those fun things. And if you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, let your friends know that we are here too. So again, welcome, welcome to the Wonder Series, where we want you to start wondering and start living. So this month we have been talking about relationships. We've discussed about relationships with ourselves and with others. And so today we're going to shift gears a little bit and discuss our relationships with our space. So I'm really excited to talk to my special guest here today, Lisa Woodruff. Lisa is a productivity and home organization expert, motivating and teaching busy women like all of us to take back control of their lives with functional systems that work. That's the piece that we like, things that actually work. She is the founder and CEO of Organize 365 and is the host of her top-rated podcast featured in Women's Day Podcast of the Month, where she shares her strategies for reducing the overwhelm, clearing the mental clutter, and living a productive and organized life. She is also the author of several Amazon best-selling books and is a very much sought-after trainer and speaker. And we are so thrilled to have you here with us today, Lisa. Welcome to the Wonder Series.
Denise, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. So I want to start everybody by saying I just recently did Lisa's 5-day organization challenge. So I definitely want to talk about that. But before we get to that, Lisa, tell us a little bit about how you got to become this amazing organized woman who actually started a business and has this incredible following. How did you become this Lisa Woodruff?
Well, you turn 40. That's what really happens is you turn 40 and you say, I cannot live this way any longer. I was literally depressed, overweight, disorganized, just everything except my marriage was great. Other than that, everything was just like falling apart around me. And I just thought, I want to live to be 100. I was like, I cannot live in this reactive, negative life any longer. I used to be a positive and organized person. And I was just like, no, I was losing friends. It was horrible. And so I sat myself down and I thought, okay, you have got to make a change and you have got to proactively get yourself out of this mess that you're in and stop living, reacting to the world, the media, the school district, all these other things. And I have a unique upbringing in that I am a 4th-generation female college graduate. And all 4 of those women owned their own businesses. Like,
Ooh.
that's incredible. Like, my great grandmother had 5 different businesses. She owned a restaurant, she owned like all these things. So I had a college degree and I came from a hugely entrepreneurial background. So I was able to ask myself this big question. And it was, if you could only do one thing for the rest of your life, poured all your effort into that, what is that one thing that you could talk about like forever? And that was 10 years ago. I decided it was organizing. So I started the blog Organize 365 because I knew it'd be good keywords for SEO because I'd had a blog before. No idea how I would monetize it, but I knew that every single job I'd ever had, direct sales, teaching, everything, I either got the job or kept the job because I was either organized or taught people how to be organized. And my degree is from Miami University in early childhood and elementary education. So I started Organize 365. A couple months into it as a blog, I realized I was a professional organizer. Didn't know that was a thing. Started in-home organizing people's houses in Cincinnati and organizing my own. And in 2012, I got my house in order. And then I realized that the people I was organizing were actually learning the skill because they'd cancel sessions with me. And they'd be like, well, we ask ourselves these questions now. I was like, oh my goodness, organization is teachable. And I'm a teacher and I understand blogging. So if I could teach this online, everybody can become organized. And it could be, I mean, our program isn't inexpensive, but it's way cheaper than having an in-home professional organizer. So I just took my in-home professional organizing gifts and talents and put them online, first in a blog, and then in the podcast, and then in courses, and then finally in physical products that support that.
Wow, all of that. And just
that.
Truly, it's amazing. Sometimes it does take that kind of, hit the wall kind of moment to be able to go, okay, wait a minute, what's not working?
Yeah.
And organization, it's funny, is one of those things like we talk about it in high school and in college, and you have to be organized, but nobody actually tells you how to be organized.
No.
It's not something, so it's a skill that you kind of either have to learn by accident, or like you said, you have this ability, with the podcast and the blog and your products now that where you can say, okay, this is teachable. Mm-hmm. We should really be teaching it to people a lot younger.
Well, and I think the frustrating thing is you may have been organized as a child or in your 20s and 30s, and now you are 40, 50, 60, you're like, but I was organized. What's the problem? Organization is a learnable skill, but it changes every 20 years because how you use your space is different and the role that you play in your own life is different. And so because it changes, what you did in your 20s and 30s does not work in your 40s and 50s, doesn't work in your 60s and 70s. And you have to keep changing and iterating as you go. In the last year, Organize 365 has partnered with a lead researcher in a university to do academic level research about what's going on inside of the American home. We've defined housework, we've defined what organization is and what it looks like in the home, and we've defined home organization paperwork. And we found in all of our studies, 84 to 87%, depending on which study we were running, people agreed that organization was a learnable skill. That's a high percentage.
Absolutely.
But in our last study, sorry to interrupt you, in our last study, we, I get too excited.
No, that's good. That's great.
We said, okay, so if home organization is such a nebulous term, like, are you organized? All you're thinking about are all the spaces that aren't organized because you're not, like debt free, like, you're not done. So I said, fine, if we did personal organization, family and communal space organization, storage organization, paper organization, are you family organized? Are you personal space organized? Are you? And so the statistics came back and people said for family, for all those areas, people said, yes, I'm organized in those areas, 13 to 17%. So we've got 84 to 87% believe organization is a learnable skill, but yet in reality, when you ask in these specific areas, are you organized? The highest percentage of people organized is less than 1 in 5.
Wow.
So we're like, okay, we believe it's learnable, but we don't have it. And it's not that we don't have it overall, we don't even have it in any of these subcategories. And so there's so much discussion in the media about the invisible work that's being done at home. Great. Could we make it visible, please? Could we make it visible? Could we get a checklist? Could we know where the end goal is? Could we say, yes, I'm organized, I'm done? Like, give me a playbook so I can achieve and not just go, yeah, I'm not organized, but I have no idea how to be there, but I'm pretty sure it's learnable, but I don't have it. Somebody's got to have it. Like that to me as a teacher, I'm like, I want to give you, here's how you get a passing grade so that you could say, great, I'm done and move on with your life.
Mhm. You just said two things that totally like light me up. Checklist and endpoint.
Yes.
We talk about that so much in my world, healthy lifestyle, like to live a healthy lifestyle. People always look at me and they're like, oh, I know, Denise, I need to eat better. I'm like, that's only one piece of it.
Yeah.
And so I see now when you talk about organization, it's not just you're organized in you're organized in your whole life. There are these kind of buckets. I
Yeah.
use the term bucket because I use that when I talk about diet. You're a vegan bucket, you're in this bucket. But I completely understand that because I see myself, I'm organized in certain areas in my home and in my life. And then in others, it's kind of like a little bit more free flowing, let's call it.
Well, and that's, and my argument is you don't have to be organized in every area. So I mentioned 4, and then I have 2 optional kids, which you may or may not have them, and then photos and memorabilia. You're allowed to say you don't want to be organized in those areas. Like, and that is an acceptable answer. And you could still say you're an organized person. And also the level of organization doesn't mean you could put this on Pinterest or in a magazine or on some, like, organization means you can find your stuff and you know where it is, period. It doesn't mean that it's all color coded, labeled, and in a rainbow order. Like, our expectation of what done looks like, and that we have to do all of it in order to call ourselves organized, wrong. I want you to know that there are 6 categories, and you're going to say, these 3 I'm not doing, these 3 I'm doing, and here's what I consider done, and I am organized that level. I am organized. End of story.
It's really interesting. So I have a book that'll be published in May, and there's a section that I talk about organization. And of course, with my background, the first place I go to is the kitchen. And, and for me personally in my life, an organized kitchen is an organized Denise and an organized brain. Because I do so much work in my kitchen. I do a lot of cooking. I do a lot of my work there. Sometimes I'm, checking out new recipes. And so for me, that's kind of my workspace. So maybe for a lot of people that would be, kitchen, okay, whatever, workspace, office, which I have also, office, desk, and all that kind of stuff. But for me, if my kitchen's disorganized, that's when I feel like I'm not quite on top of things.
And I would say, oh, sorry.
No, it's
along
just
the lines
the categories.
Well, in your kitchen, if you also take in, you did this in the 5-day challenge, you did your closet, right? So if you do your master bedroom, bathroom, and your closet, that what I call the adult condo. So if you do your adult condo and you do your kitchen, you've hit 80% of the space in your house that you actually use. You can call yourself organized. Like if your condo and your kitchen are organized, you don't have to worry about the storage. You say, yeah, I'm organized in my daily living spaces. And when I get up in the morning and when I go to bed at night, I'm looking at organized spaces. I'm good.
That makes sense. I do want to touch a little bit more again on the research, because that's really astounding. I mean, I would agree that most people would say, oh yeah, you could learn to be organized, Google something, and it'll give you 5 steps to, whether that works or not, who knows. But the fact that there was such a disconnect, what are you planning to do with that research? Like that's the piece that really excites me. It's like, okay, so we have this research, we know these numbers. What is that endpoint? Like, what's that next step?
Yes. So Organized 365 has the solution for all of those spaces to be organized, and we call it the productive home solution. But it really is like getting a 4-year college degree when you purchase this course, and then you got to muscle your way through it. So we're going to take the course and divide it into those 4 buckets. So you could say, okay, we divide our year into 3 sections. So summer, fall, winter. This summer, I'm going to be personally organized. Great. So personally organized means my bedroom, my bathroom, my closet, my wallet, purse, backpack, and my transportation. This is all I have to focus on this summer, and that I will be able to say that I am personally organized. Whereas inside of our program, we have little pieces of that in all of it, which is what I call Swiss cheese organizing. So we have Swiss cheese organizing where like the utensil drawer is great and our bathroom is good and our backpack is good, but the car is a mess and the closet and meh. So every space you go in, something's organized, but something's not. So you just feel constantly disorganized. And so what we want you to do is to then say, okay, great. I am going to get this thing organized, my phone, my email, my whatever. And then you're like, check the box, so that you have like all these wins that then lead up to whole categories being done versus just little pieces and parts everywhere.
fantastic, because so much of life is that you're kind of a little here, a little dabble here and a dabble there. And people do this with, healthy lifestyle. Oh, we're going to, pick this piece over that piece. And obviously you can't concentrate on all of it at once. But one piece leads to the next. So I appreciate that.
And you need that feeling of completion. Like if you're just talking about healthy lifestyle, if you eat a salad a day, but then you also eat ice cream every night, then you negate the salad a day. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to say like, okay, I'm going to focus on getting my steps higher. I want to double the amount of steps I'm doing. I'm going to do that for 90 days. Okay. So now that's a habit. Now I want to, like, I have this ring I wear, this new Aura ring. Like I'm tracking all of my sleep. I'm doing better on sleep than I thought. Okay. Next 90 days. And like picking something that just kind of builds building blocks versus just cherry picking here and there that doesn't really give you the end result that you want. And it's that nagging feeling of like, it's not done. Like, I think we underestimate the stress and the just anxiety that we create for ourselves by having things partially done. It's almost better to have not even started than to have all these things partially done.
I would agree with that. And you'll appreciate this because you've written books. I felt that way when I wrote the first manuscript. And then I didn't know what to do with it. I kind of sat on it and I was like, ooh, it's because I knew it needed massaging and it needed work. And to be truthful, I wasn't quite sure at the time when I wrote it, what my real message was. Wrote this and I'm like, oh, what do I do with it? And it nagged at me for like 2 years. Hello, I'm still here. And it really was actually bringing me down where this should have been something to be really excited about. It was disappointing because I hadn't completed it and it started it. So you're right. If I had waited 2 years and actually had my message, then written, it would have been a lot easier to write and get and maybe finish.
Maybe
on it at the time.
Maybe. We put so much pressure on the fact that we're writing a book. It's like, oh, we wrote a book. So yes, I've written 4 books. 3 are self-published. 1 is traditionally published. That traditionally published book, there are no errors in that book. The 3 self-published ones have outsold the traditionally published one by a lot. Wow. There are probably errors in there. And they are like little stories that nobody would publish. It's like my story of getting organized the year 2012, my view on generations, and then a really short book on how ADHD affects home organization. But those smaller books were all written in just a matter of a couple of months. They've been edited multiple times. New covers have been added to them or whatever, but they've been out there and living for like 7 years, 6 years, and 4 years. And people get a lot of value out of those books. So don't hold yourself to this. Like, if you're going to self-publish the book, 2 years later, you can re-edit it. My books have been re-edited, all kinds of stuff. And you grow and change. And it's the getting the ideas out there and then people being able to say, oh, this resonates with me. I don't know about this. And you do more research and then keep editing it. Like, there is no done. There is no perfect.
You're right. There is no done.
Perfect as soon as it's done. And then the next day it's literally out of date. So
right.
Just get living.
So what did we just touch on? We just touched on perfectionism.
Yes.
And how that one doesn't really happen. And when, and how, so let's talk about perfectionism a little more in organization.
Yes. So your examples, like you said, you can Google how to organize whatever space. When you Google out how to organize whatever space, you are going to get pictures that are beautiful, that are from Pinterest, from magazines, from TV shows, that are expensive to replicate. And as soon as you have those done, you're going to yell at your family because they have messed it up when they take the cereal bar out of the perfect cereal thing. And so for a long time, I tried to say, like, we're not perfectionists. We're not trying to get to perfect. Well, when you're not getting to perfect, then people feel like, well, I'm not a slacker. Like, I'm not like a non-perfectionist. So I had to replace it. So now in Organized 365, we say, we are people of excellence. I'm not a perfectionist. I'm a person of excellence. So if you're having a hard time with getting rid of something, you need to replace it with something equal or better. So now we are living an excellent life, something that is, done is better than perfect.
Mm-hmm. I love that the about excellence, because yes, perfectionism really holds you back. It does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what's new and exciting? Like, let's talk about like somebody who's new to Organized 365. What can they expect?
Well, I'm a teacher and I'm a talker. So, over 500 podcast episodes and 15 million downloads, like I have lots of stories and lots of ideas. And I think that it is, I kind of equate it to Dave Ramsey's helping you get out of debt. Like it takes a long time to get out of debt. And there are these specific steps that you go through. The same thing is true when you want to get organized, like recognizing and understanding that we're spending anywhere between 24 and 36 hours a week in housework. Most people don't realize that. And that's the Pew Research Institute stat, not mine. So you don't realize how much time you're spending cooking, cleaning, shopping, laundry, yard work, maintenance, to-do lists, organizing. It's a lot of time. And once you realize that you're spending that time either way, so you can either be reactive about it and like, I don't know where my time goes. I don't know. Or you could say, holy cow, I have more than a part-time job taking care of this house. Number one, I would like to reduce the hours and increase my income. And number two, if this is my job, then I'm going to do it to excellence, which means that now laundry day is on Tuesdays and Fridays. And I don't just do it here or there. I do it here. I know how much time I'm spending and I'm going to save that time and just really look into what is housework? What are you doing? How can you make your invisible work visible so that you can give yourself the credit for what you're doing, or you can share the workload inside of your family if that's the way your family dynamic is.
You just touched on a sore subject there about laundry.
Laundry? It can be outsourced, that one's easy to outsource.
that is true. Mark, my husband and I, we work out every day. And like every day he's like putting, doing a load of laundry, which means then I have a load of laundry to fold. So it is, like, do you leave it there for a couple of days or do you do one load, a little load all the time? This will be an interesting test for me to really kind of look at that piece, because I never really thought about laundry in this way before. It's just, it's there. I hate having dirty clothes around, so I just do the laundry. But I'm probably spending a little bit of time every day washing, drying, folding, putting it away, rather than doing that one time. And maybe it takes me an hour each day to do everything. Maybe it'll take me an hour and 20 minutes to do it one time. Ooh, so
you asked what you would get from Organized 365. I'll just let you know, I do dishes twice a week, and I'm the only one in my family that does dishes. So you can go, oh, disgusting. Also, we eat out almost every meal because I gave up cooking and grocery shopping like 5 years ago. I saved like 10, 15 hours a week not doing anything related to food. I said to my husband, if he wanted to eat at home or whatever, he could shop. And he does. He does all the shopping, goes to 4 different stores. He makes this great dinner on Sunday. And he knows I haven't stepped foot inside of a store in 5 years. I kind of feel guilty saying that, but also I don't. So when we define housework is cleaning, anything like a cleaning company will do. Tasks of daily living, we'll come back to that. Maintenance, which is a current investment of money for a future return on money. And organizing, which is a current investment of time for a future return on time. It's these tasks of daily living that get put on one homeowner early in the relationship that never get separated back out, but they are of the person. Like if you go on vacation, as you get older, when you move into a non-house, they stay with you. Like cleaning the house can be done by somebody else. Doing your food, your laundry, your health care, that is of the person. But when we cohabitate, we give those tasks to another human, even though they're of ourselves. And that is where I think in midlife, we all go, why am I doing all this stuff? So absolutely. I do dishes 2 or 3 times a week. Here's my thing. I'm very rarely in my kitchen. And so when it gets to a level that I don't want to do it, that I don't like it anymore, I will clean it all and I will run a load and then I will leave my kitchen again. If my daughter or my husband wanted to do the dishes, like the soap is right there, they clearly don't have the desire to do it. And also they don't even ask me to do it. So they don't even care enough to say, hey, you haven't done your dishes. Dishes are mine. Laundry is mine. Trash is Greg's. Grocery shopping is Greg's. I've reduced a lot of what I do in the house. I have somebody clean the house because that falls on me. I'm like, I work full time now. I'm going to hire that out. So it's making those conscious decisions. Just because there's 36 hours worth of work, which is what it was when I did my own time study, doesn't mean I have to do it all. I do about 4 hours a week.
Wow.
And the rest gets done.
Let's talk about this time study. Is that something you recommend for people to do? Because that I'm intrigued by that.
Kind of depressing. So I was like, the Pew Research Institute, the largest institute of all time, has to be wrong. There is no way it takes 24 hours to take care of a house, not including children, by the way. That's totally wrong. So I tracked Greg's and my time for a week, and it was 36 hours. I was like, oh my gosh. And that's when I look at it, I'm like, and I don't know why this is true, but if you clean your own house, it takes like 6 to 8 hours per week. But if you hire somebody, it's 3 hours every other week. I don't know why that math works, but that is exactly how the math works. So by having someone clean my house twice a month, I literally save myself 6 to 8 hours a week. I don't know why, but it's true. And then once your house is organized, you find things, you save more time. So you could do a lot of things to save time once you look at how much time you're spending. That's why I don't do laundry every day. I only do it Friday night into Saturday. So I start at Friday night, move it, and then Saturday morning, I fold it all and put it away.
That does make a lot of sense. I remember when I was working in corporate, I had a job where I was actually doing 2 jobs at once because somebody was on maternity leave. And I remember saying to my boss, I need some help or I need to get paid more for what I'm doing. And she said to me, she says, well, I don't even know what you do all day, which was a bit of an insult. Really? And so she said, well, why don't you write down, everything you're doing while you're doing it? And initially I thought, that's one more freaking thing. But I did because she told me to do it. And, that's what you do. And I couldn't believe how much time that I was spending so at the time I was the director of catering at a hotel. I was spending so much time kind of putting out fires for other departments that I worked with, but people that weren't actually directly involved with what I was doing. I mean, I was catering sales and, having parties and lunches and weddings. What on earth I had to do with the maintenance man with the it turned out I had a big, long conversation with the maintenance man for the elevator at the hotel that I was working at. And so I was spending a lot of time doing this. So I actually, now that I think that I've done one of these studies, but never for my home, I've never considered doing it for my personal life.
And you'll find the same exact thing. You were doing reactive work instead of proactive work. You'll find the same thing at home. You're doing reactive work instead of proactive work. So the first thing I did when I did this way back when was I instituted errand day on Tuesdays, which meant that you could have a request of anything that you wanted. This is before Amazon. And I was like, but on Tuesdays is the day I get up and I run all the errands. So 2 things happened. 1, we delayed when we purchased things, which saved us money. 2, people knew they had to get their requests in by Monday night. And 3, I only have so much energy on money. So when I would get up on Tuesday, I would look at everything I had to do. Some things would get crossed off because we didn't have the money. And some things would get crossed off because I didn't want to drive that far, or I didn't have the energy or the time to do that full circle. And so we started to consolidate that way. You just consolidate a lot of ways by being proactive versus reactive and realizing you have a part-time job. Like, it's not like you can pretend you don't have it, but you have it. So, reactive versus proactive, you save so much time, so much stress, and you can have planned neglect. Like, planned neglect is my favorite thing. That's where I'm saying, like, you could say, I'm not organizing paper in my house. I'm not organizing storage rooms. We don't keep photos here. You're purposely making a decision. When you purposely make a decision that you're not going to do this ever or for a certain period of time, then it takes the expectation off of yourself. When you don't do that, you're like, oh, there's so much stuff to do around here. And you just feel like everything has to be done now because you haven't said, I'm not doing this at all, or I'm not doing this until the future, or somebody else is doing it.
So how do we get from reactive to proactive?
Well, listening to videos and podcasts like this, like listening to people who are living that way, because you won't see it on TV. You won't hear about it in your friends that are just blowing off steam. You have to go to people who have actually thought through and decided that, oh, I've thought through this and I'm mentally going to do that. And then at Organize 365, we have you start here with the Sunday basket. And that's where you take all of your ideas that you have, all of your thoughts you have, and you put it in this box. And every Sunday you proactively go through it and pick out the things that you can do the next week. Otherwise, if it can wait until Sunday, it must wait until Sunday. Yes, it takes a while to go through the box. And yes, there are things that are in there that you don't get done each week. The first 6 weeks, you never get everything done. And then you start to realize that things are not going to get done for quite a while or ever, and that you're doing too many things and you don't have that much time. So it's a concrete way of seeing that my expectations for myself are unrealistic. Other people's expectations on my time are unrealistic. Oh, and I wanted to tell you this one idea, Denise. So you're really frustrated about the working out and the laundry. So I don't know where you put the dirty laundry, but I would suggest you put it somewhere else. So I don't know if you put it in your bedroom or if you put it in your laundry room, if you have one.
But if you put in the laundry room.
And do you walk by the laundry room all the time?
Yes, because so the laundry's in my mudroom, which is where my pantry is.
Okay. And so then can you put a hamper in your closet in your bedroom, or could you put a hamper wherever you work out so that the workout clothes that are dirty stay there and you don't see them in the laundry room, and then you bring them to the laundry room and do them once a week? It's because you see it.
Yes. I can do that.
Yay, problem solved. Because if you just say, I'm not doing it till Friday, but you still see it, it's going to drive you crazy and you'll put it in because you don't want to see dirty laundry in your laundry room.
Yeah, right. You're right.
That's why you're doing it.
That is truly why I love doing the Wonder Series, because this is something, I mean, how simple was that? I told you what my problem was. You had an answer, and I can apply that right away as soon as I get home on Sunday, because I'm going to have a whole laundry, or I'm going to have 2 suitcases full of clothes, which means laundry.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. So tell us a couple of things, so the Sunday box, give me some ideas, like what would we put in the Sunday box? So I'm new to this. What would you recommend, Denise? Here's your Sunday box. This is what you do with it. Start here.
Yep. Number 1, every single thing that's on your kitchen counter, mail, to-do list, things that need to be returned, all those things go in there. Then secondly, every single request that comes at you through text, through DM, through a phone call, through somebody in your house verbally telling you something, or your brain telling you something. So what that looks like is you have a whole bunch of index cards, or I have these little tiny notepads everywhere in my house. So I'll write down, I need to get a haircut. I need to reorder my melatonin. I need to fill the kids' pill dispensers, whatever. And you just tear these off, one idea per sheet into the box, only one idea. That way you don't have to have a whole list. You don't have to prioritize lists, forget all that. Every time you have a thought, you have to write it down. And you may be like, this is ridiculous. I could just go fill the pill containers. No, but that takes 15 minutes. And you're stopping what you're doing now to go do this. You're losing so much time.
Mm-hmm.
If it can wait till Sunday, it must wait till Sunday. You're teaching yourself to be proactive versus reactive. Everything is going to keep coming at you. Your only question from here on out is, can whatever this thing is wait until Sunday? It can? Great. Let me write it down and put it in the Sunday basket. If it can't, then you address it. And you'll find out like 1 out of 99 things needs to be addressed now. Everything else can wait. You may say, but I think I already wrote down that I need a haircut. Doesn't matter. Write it down again. On Sunday, if you have 4 things that say you need a haircut, it's not a big deal. You just recycle all of the paper. Stop making your brain, which is such a thinking, wonderful computer, remember that you need a haircut 89 times until you actually make the appointment. You do all that on Sunday. And once you start doing this after about 6 weeks, your brain will all of a sudden start thinking about bigger things, making different synergies. You will love it. You will love it.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about the 5-day challenge that I just went through. How often do you do things like that? Because I think it's important. You mentioned earlier, like there are 3 seasons. And so I'm just curious, like, how does that fit in with these challenges?
Totally. First of all, I'm such a nerd. So I love my entire life. I've always loved analyzing large families. I'm from a large Irish Catholic family, large families, how people interact, how they use their houses, different generations, all this kind of stuff. And so I have observed that there is a seasonality to how we use the American home that is just like, it's natural. And so like, it's really difficult for you to start like eating salads in the middle of October, right? Like that's just not salad season. Same thing with organizing. Everybody wants to get organized in January. Everyone wants to do spring cleaning. There are these certain things that I know you're going to be Googling, or you're going to be like, you know what, maybe this is the time that I start organizing. I'm a teacher. I want as many students as I can listening to my podcast and doing organizing because I want to hear the transformation. So if I can catch you in one of these golden windows, I'm going to fan the flame so that you can move forward. So you joined us in our adult spring break blitz, which happens in March. And we just walk you through taking one space, and I keep sending you back to that space 5 days in a row so that you could see what a space looks like done. What does it mean to get a space done? So day one, you do planning. You don't actually do any work. Then you do 3 days of work. I divide your space into 3 spaces. And then on Friday, we talk about increasing productivity and how to maintain that space. Our next blitz will be in July. It's the second week in July, and it is back to school. You don't have to have kids. It's all about getting all your doctor's appointments done and your office supplies and your school supplies and all that stuff done in August so that you can hit September hard, because that's your most productive time of the year. Our third blitz of the year is the holiday blitz, and it is the first week in November. And that's where you plan and think through everything that's going to happen until the end of the year. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate until New Year's, we think about it before any of the decorations are out or anybody's made any requests. And then the last one is the last week of the year, which is out with the old, from December 26th until the 31st. And that's when you want to declutter everything that's not breathing, and sometimes some of the breathing things, but we don't declutter the breathing things, just the non-breathing things. And then we're ready to go into your organizing for the new year. So these are all free blitzes that we have. You can go to organize365.com/blitz, and you could sign up to go on the wait list for the back to school one now.
Well, I'm getting on the next one because I had really, I had fun going through and doing this. I mean, okay, I'm a bit of a nerd here myself in so many ways. One, I'm a food nerd, but I'm also like, I'm learning. I'm an organization nerd. It's so funny. All of my, the hangers, they all match. They all go the same way. I was like, oh my God, this is so much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I go into the closet and everything was color coded to start with, all the whites together. But all of a sudden I realized that when I walk into that closet now, I'm not going, oh, what am I going to wear? Even though things were put together beforehand, now it's so much clearer because there's all this other stuff that's gone.
Yeah.
So it used to be like walking into a cave, and now at least it's less of a cave and it's more of a closet.
Well, and it makes you like, you save so much time because everything in there, you know, and you love. And if there's anything people have already organized in their house, it's probably their closet. Who has not done a closet challenge before? Like, we don't even have one, but that's one people that love to do. And that is one, the only thing I would say, if you're doing a closet challenge that I've noticed that people don't really talk about is, what if you don't have enough? And that's where I was when I organized my closet. I only had 3 outfits that fit me when I organized my closet in 2012. And all of the nice outfits that I had, I would never fit in again. But my mom had bought me years prior, and they were really high quality. And I didn't have any money to go out and buy things that would fit me. So during that year, I organized my closet 3 times, and I made myself get rid of the things that were never going to fit me again. And I started buying from resale shops. But the nice thing was, if you went to a resale shop, you could get really nice clothes for like $4 or $5 each. And I figured out what my style was. And then over the last 10 years, I've replaced that with actually buying from stores versus resale shops. And that's the thing. Sometimes when you go in, even to organize your closet, if you're just looking at how do I get rid of to keep the things that I like the most, a lot of people who have been living a reactive life for a long time and find themselves very overwhelmed and disorganized also find themselves overweight and depressed and without a lot of money and in a new phase of life that they're uncertain of, and they don't really have a good example for someone to follow. And so they don't have the money for the cute organizers, and they don't have the money to buy all new so that everything matches. And if that's your idea of organizing, then you start out and you go, I could never be organized because I don't have these things. And so I really like to look at, what do you have? How can you keep what you love of what you have? And how can you move forward? And then you do get to the point where all the hangers match and you've finally gotten to your level of organization, which is different than starting out by buying hangers to reorganize your closet. That's not true. The true feeling of organization, that is decorating.
Yeah, I get that. You
Mhm.
make a very good point, about this, about, how people who walk into their closet and that, that's disorganized. And a lot of those people not knowing where they're going, and they're depressed, or they're overweight. When I see so often that woman, and I see really now where how it connects, how your space truly can
Yes.
connect to your health. And that's why I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, because other people need to know that it's okay. Like, you're not the only one. There are other people who, as women, we all kind of go through things, but a lot of us go through the same things. And if we don't talk about it to one another, then, we feel lost and alone. And that affects, our mental and physical health. And truly, I see now where it just, and walking into my closet again, how that does it's a different feeling walking in there with it being organized. And it may not be perfect, because we're not looking for perfect. We're looking for excellence in life. I really love that phrase. But the feeling that I have, and think about this when you walk in and you feel that heaviness,
Yes.
that's not a healthy feeling. But that lightness, and I guess with the spring coming, I mean, I live in Minnesota, so the spring is still coming. But with the spring coming, it's really important to have that lightness and to feel that positivity, that to me, really did come, that extra level of positivity that came with going through and organizing that one space. And I'm excited about the next opportunity.
I think that's why the blitzes are so powerful, like you said, because you do it inside of our Organized 365 app. So you don't have to worry about somebody else on Facebook seeing your stuff. You're just in this group, but you see the reality of actually what it takes to organize. Like if you Google organization, you see finished products, which usually have a lot of decorating in them. But when you're inside of one of the blitz, I literally cultivate, and I'm like, okay, do this, think this. Think through this. Okay, now this is what you need to process through in organizing. And then whatever your end product looks like, you would share in the app. But also the great thing about the app is everybody shares their during. They share how they're getting organized and what it looks like and how do I get rid of this. And it is the skill of organizing. Organization is a learnable skill. We don't teach the skill. We show you how to decorate and increase productivity. You need to learn the skill of organizing. And that's what you do in the Blitz. And that's what you do in all of our courses and programs.
Perfect. Excellent. I love that. No, that makes so much sense. So thank you. I think this is a great place to kind of end this conversation, and I look forward to another conversation with you. Lisa, tell us where, how can people find you? What is like the best thing, best way for them to connect with you, to listen to you, and to really get to that point where, they're learning these skills from you and Organized 365?
So I think the best place is just to go to the Organized 365 podcast. If you've liked this interview, you'll probably like that. And since I've been doing that for 7.5 years, we're starting playlists. So you can search your podcast player. You can find a workbox playlist right now. Soon you'll be able to find one on the glossary. They're the ways I redefine spaces in your home, like your condo, things like that. We're coming up with another. So there'll be a bunch of playlists that you can find that curate the best of the best out of the podcast. And then we're not doing a blitz right now, but if you want to try one of the on-demand challenges that we have a 7-day mini course. So you can go to organized365.com/mini course, and that'll help you set up your own Sunday basket for free. And if you think that might work for you, then you might want to get the whole program.
Wonderful. This has been an eye-opener for me, and I know for all of our audience. Lisa, thank you so much for your time, for your brilliance, for sharing your knowledge with us. We really do appreciate it.
Denise, thank you.
So thank you to our listeners. You have been here listening to the Wonder Series, brought to you by Living Healthy List. We are here every Wednesday. New podcast drops at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. For more information, check us out at livinghealthylist.com. And if you are interested in being one of our guest experts here on the Wonder Series, shoot me an email at support@livinghealthylist.com and let's chat. So I will see you next time. Till then, I leave you with this. Start wondering and start living. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.